peace means something don't have negative qualities. For example, no negative thinking, no negative karma, no negative conduct, no negative action, no disease, no violence, no starvation, then peace. When you have peace, guarantee there is happiness. Happiness is always with us. Because there is sometimes peace and happiness, they think two things. According to Buddha's teaching, peace and happiness same. Shanti, Sukha, they're exactly same things. But for example, no bad weather means good weather. Yeah? Same thing, peace means something don't have negative things. So, who want peace? Everybody want peace. Everybody don't like suffering. No suffering and no cause of suffering, that is peace. No suffering and no cause of suffering, that is peace. Everybody don't want suffering and cause of suffering. It's true, yeah? That is why we don't want suffering. That you should learn. Why we don't want suffering. Who taught us? Why we don't want suffering, why we don't like suffering. And why we like happiness and why we want happiness. These two is we didn't learn from school. When you're born, automatically want happiness, don't want suffering. These two is very important to learn because hoping for happiness, fear for suffering. Hoping for happiness, fear for suffering. So no suffering and no cause of suffering, that is peace. And have happiness and the cause of happiness, that is called happiness, sukha. So these two is we need to learn because this purpose of happiness, for the happiness, I want drink, I want study. For the purpose, free from suffering, the cause of suffering, I work, do many things, from small insect to big elephant. Everybody, same principle, same goal. So, but we need to know that who want happiness, who wanting happiness, who don't want suffering. These is we need to decide. There are many religions, many cultures. Each culture and religion has own idea. You cannot really say it is good or bad. But today is not talking about Tibetan culture. Also, I'm not talking about this Asia region. I talking about what Buddha said about my happiness and my suffering. According to Buddha's teaching, what Buddha said, my suffering and my happiness. Do I like happiness? Do I want happiness? Yes. Why I want happiness? Who wanting happiness? I don't want suffering, and who don't want suffering? Yes. I don't want suffering, so people easy to learn Buddhism. You right way to use English language and whatever you learn. But then sometimes you can make complicated, make confused. Whole life, what is Buddhism? Maybe that, maybe that. No idea, like foggy, you can make foggy. So today we try to make simple is possible. Simple is possible and something memorable. Something you can remember next day or next year or even next life. That is our goal. So therefore, today we try to understand that what is suffering, recognizing suffering. Some people say we don't want to talk about suffering. So you don't want to talk about suffering. That is not decreasing suffering. You don't talk about suffering, actually worse. So we need to know what is suffering. What is suffering and why you suffer? Very important. What is suffering? Why are you suffering? And how to decrease suffering? That is first you need to know. Second, you should know what is cause of suffering and what is condition of suffering. This is also very important to know. This is I asked the professor, this your school is learning some religion, culture like that? And according to Buddhist culture, during teaching, you take out hat is very good. Can you check? That's very good. We say the central channel here, central channel. You not only hear from this, but hear from here, everywhere. Absorb the message. So you get full power. that is during the teaching time, it is you not is way ahead, and teaching time is focus, like kind of the brain surgery. Brain surgery in focus here. Here is what we do is like we learn in Buddhism. If you want to practice Buddhism, you should learn what is Buddhism. If you want to criticize Buddhism, also should learn what is Buddhism. If you don't know Buddhism, you don't have right to practice. Also, you don't have right to criticize. You want to know if that I don't like Buddhism. Why? Because I didn't learn. So you don't learn, you're not necessarily Buddhism. So I like Buddhism. Why? Because I didn't learn. So a lot of people, so today we try to couple principles. This number one is like Buddhist Four Noble Truths. Yeah, I'm talking about suffering. What is suffering? Cause of suffering. The third is very important. You are young, these young people. Everybody is searching for happiness, but it is very important to recognize what is happiness. Defining happiness is the most crucial. Decide. I think this is happiness. There is like big misunderstanding in this world. What is happiness? I tell you, you don't need to agree to everything. Yet you can analyze, and later you can research more. Possible to you can reliable message in Buddha's teaching. So recognizing what is happiness, defining what is happiness, and how to really get happiness, reliable happiness, and how to let this maintain the happiness. And there is true happiness, or just only temporary happiness, or is absolute happiness ever existed in this universe, or will exist. Those things we learn. And especially, most important, what is cause of happiness and cause of peace? First you should know that peace and happiness, I said, one thing, two qualities, one thing. They're not separate. So when I say happiness, please think, this is peace and happiness.